Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Writer here with a discussion on a new Power Rangers news rumor. Before I start off though, I want to say, just like I did in yesterday's video, I apologize if my voice sounds a little funny. I'm recording this at the tail end of a sinus infection, so I sound a little bit strange. And also, as always, I want to remind you guys to like this video if you enjoy it, and hit that subscribe and ring the bell button to get more videos like this and more. As I always do with these videos, I want to preface that this is just a rumor at this stage. There's been a lot of rumors about the next seasons of Power Rangers, and at this moment, it's just a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. It's just fun to discuss it. Unfortunately, I feel a lot of people tend to get riled up about the rumors because they're not confirmed yet, but I think the fun of it for me is just discussing the what-if possibilities because it's interesting. So this has a series of a lot of interesting rumors. I mean, the top of the news article is that David Yost, who played Billy Cranston, is going to be returning for one episode in the 30th season of Power Rangers, and that leads to other rumors that this season will include multiple returning guest stars, possibly some that will be main cast members. There's also a rumor we will be using Zenkaiger, and there will be new original Rangers, and also it's going to have shorter episodes but longer ones. A lot of interesting stuff here. You know, there was several rumors after the Netflix Power Rangers news and rumors that there was going to be one more live-action season. At the time, one of the rumors is they were looking at Zyuohger as a possible one to sort of fill in time since everything about the movie and movie production got delayed, that they were going to fill in time with one more traditional live-action season. And like I said, Zyuohger was the initial rumor. Then a little while back, there was some casting sides information about Power Rangers in New Zealand that were a little bit different because they had a little bit of a shorter window of time. You know, there's a certain amount of time the cast will spend in New Zealand to film a traditional season or seasons, and this one had them spending a much shorter time in New Zealand, and this was presumed to be for some sort of new project in between now and the Netflix show. Like I said, it would kind of line up for a shorter episode count, which lines up with this rumor about possibly shorter episodes but longer ones, longer episodes being about 44 minutes, which I think is interesting. Whether they would be 44 minutes or not, which seems kind of strange to me, I think the idea of an almost anniversary miniseries is kind of interesting, and I kind of dig the idea. If it was like 6 or 7 episodes, or even 5 at 45 minutes for a little mini story, I think that could actually be kind of a cool and unique series to fill in the gap. And if it's true that we're going to be kind of taking a breather on the main universe for the reboot after this, it would kind of make proper sense to have a more finale-esque series for like an anniversary season, which I think could be kind of neat. You know, David Yost returning could be kind of cool. You know, I know there's been all that talk about his anniversary season he's been writing about the older mmprs. I don't think this has anything to do with that, but you know, that would be the first time he's returned in a long time, so that could be neat. I definitely would be interested to see what other cast members they would get. If there's series regulars ones, I wonder if they would be the new Rangers, or would they be mentors, or a little bit of both. Would any of the new Rangers be new characters? I'm definitely interested in that. I think the idea of using Zenkaiger is the most interesting one that comes from the rumor, because it's not just that they would be using Zenkaiger, but there would be a lot of original footage, because according to this rumor, and these rumors are coming from Jinsaku on Twitter, who has been right and wrong depending on the occasion, but the rumors about the way they are using this is that there would be some original Rangers replacing the Kikanoids, and that there would be a new female Ranger as well. So if this is true, it could kind of make sense for a mini-series because you wouldn't have as much ground to cover, so you could make new suits and splice together the footage for on a smaller scale, make what Zenkaiger has work for you. And I think it does kind of work, because obviously like Zenkaiger himself is very Go Ranger or retro-y feeling, but then there's a lot of stuff that definitely specifically leans towards PR, especially with stuff like Zenkaijuo and stuff like of that nature. I mean, I can imagine them removing the Kikanoids because it is a little bit off-putting, I could see, to the general audience. That being said, I imagine, not imagine, but I think it would be neat for them to use them in some way, because even though Zenkaiger is out there and Zenkaiger is very much more Sentai retro related, the other 4 are series, are robots that are from Power Rangers series specifically. So I feel like you could make use of them somehow, whether it's like as, you know, AI helper bots or as power-ups or something. I think that it would be silly. Maybe they'll just be the Megazords, because obviously if they use the Megazords, that'll be that. But I think it would be silly to maybe not try to make use of those in some way, even if they were characters like Redbot or something. Because, again, they specifically are from seasons that we did use for Power Rangers, so it would seem weird to not use them. I'm all on board for the idea of original Rangers. I think it would be cool to fill out the team, maybe with this new female Ranger. Again, there's This rumor says that there would be some returning cast, so I'd be curious if this idea evolves, whether it would be a mix of new characters and returning cast, or all returning cast. I think it's definitely interesting, especially since Zenkaiger was one of the ones that gets written off the most as unadaptable, and also because there's so much rumor and thought about the reason that Zenkaiger and Dawn Brothers are so out there is because Sentai had the freedom to be out there since they didn't have to worry about what PR would adapt. I think it would be funny if they ultimately used it. Again, it's all just rumor at this point, and it is kind of funny how the rumors have fluctuated. We've gotten so many different rumors from, Dino Fury's The Last, straight to Netflix Reboot, to Zyuohger, to Q-Ranger, to this now, which I didn't expect this at all. I know that there was rumors of like an mmpr anniversary special floating around, but I did not expect Zenkaiger to be involved in it. It's like, I'm not sure what I want personally so much. I think this is the most interesting to me, and I think would be the most interesting to see. I'm probably most excited to just get to the new refresh, but I think of the rumors, I would probably rather see this amalgam of an anniversary special with returning cast and sort of doing an original take on Zenkaiger, making use of the footage you can, and including some new original stuff, because it sounds the most creative and the most unexpected, too. And I think if it feels like this really interesting take where they make it their own, it would kind of also, in a weird way, maybe unintentionally, be kind of a nice bookend to the current PRU for the anniversary's sake, because back in the day, in the Zordon era, PR was such an amalgam of different things, which is what made it so kind of enjoyable, even looking back now, splicing together all these different Sentais and stories and, making the new Sentai villain tie into the overall story that they have. And Masked Rider was in there at one point. I mean, it's fascinating, and I think the idea of them doing this series where it kind of harkens back to the old days of making use of the footage they can, but then having to fill the gaps in and having some more original stuff, I think would be fascinating. And I think, I'm not saying it's my favorite idea, and I'm not the most excited about it because I'm a little bit tired of anniversary stuff, but I think it certainly sounds like the most interesting thing that could have the most interesting things to talk about of the bunch, especially using Zenkaiger, and especially it would be funny using Zenkaiger since, again, it was the one that was written off as the most unadaptable. But we'll have to see. Again, this is all just rumor. It's fun to discuss. I will keep you guys updated. Again, I apologize about my voice at the tail end of this infection, but I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this special. What do you think about the possibility of using Zenkaiger and returning actors? What would you want to see if this is true? What would you want to see instead of it? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps to ring that bell so you know notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.